Hey everybody, my name is Will Rockland. I'm a fractional chief product officer. Today's video, we are going to talk about the disaster that is the Humane AI Pin. We're going to talk about it from a product strategy standpoint so that you, as the founder, the entrepreneur, the product manager, can avoid these colossal, and I would argue, pretty obvious mistakes. What is the Humane AI Pin? You are unfamiliar with it. Perhaps you are not a customer. This is it. It is a new piece of hardware that you can tap. It has AI, you talk to it, also has a projector, and you can use some gestures to interact with it if you were to do that. Perhaps you remember the Humane AI Pin from this article, a little bit of a hazy piece about why the company's not doing well. Here's what they had to say. Bad functionality, short battery life, an overheating battery, kind of a double whammy there, and it's $700. So yeah, if you build a lemon, you charge $700, you're gonna have a business problem. And very recently, let me go get my link here. This is the one. We got to zoom in on this because this is nuts. Between May and August, more pins were returned than purchased. By June, only 8,000 units hadn't been returned. Whoa. This company raised $240 million from some marquee investors like Sam Altman, who's the CEO of OpenAI, and Mark Benioff, who's the CEO of Salesforce. Okay, yeah, so it's not going well. In this video, we are going to dive into the strategic product reasons of why the Humane AI Pin not only failed, but I would argue was doomed to fail, and what they probably could have done instead to at least give them a better shot. What are those lessons to learn? Let's dive in right now. Okay, look, I'm going to rip into their product strategy in a minute, but first I want to say that their vision was enormous. It was admirable even. Basically, can we get people to stop staring at their screens so we can be present to each other and the world around us? Great, I'm all in. Now it's time for the takedown. I'm gonna give it first the Scott Galloway test. What is Scott Galloway? Who is this test? I'm about to explain, relax. This is hardware, people. You put it on your body. So let's give it the Scott Galloway test, which is this dude. He is an NYU Stern professor, entrepreneur, podcast host. Is using this thing going to get you laid? Is this thing going to get you laid? Now that sounds maybe crass or crazy, but when the iPhone first came out, the answer to that question was yeah. That dude over there knows where to find the subway. I'm going to date him and not his broke Nokia friend. Okay? That's how that one worked. I know that's a way back machine I just took you on, but that was real. Okay, guys, you ready for number two? There's not a lot of evidence that people want more hardware. I did research for this. Are you ready to look at a spreadsheet with me? Here are the number of units sold by form factor last year according to these people. Phones, computers, smart home displays, those things like the Google Assistant, tablets, you can read, right? If you look at the year-over-year growth, it tells a story that I would say is, we good, yo. We got enough. We got enough jazz. I'm not sitting at home, probably like you, being like, you know what would really make my life awesome right now is another tablet. The challenge for Humane is enormous. They're saying not only are we going to add a row in this spreadsheet and move a significant amount of hardware, a new kind of hardware, they're also saying that they are going to own it. They're going to invent and own a new category. Third, what Humane is trying to say is that they're going to go get market share from these guys. You're going to stop using one of these to come use the pin. And you're like, Will, is that true? How could that be true? That sounds crazy. It is true. And yeah, it is crazy. And not in the good entrepreneurial crazy way. In this video, which I highly encourage you to watch because of its unintentional humor value, they are basically saying, yeah, the desktop, the laptop, whatever, all that stuff, forget it. You just need this thing. This thing's the best. It allows all of that functionality and it gives you all the presence. What they are basically saying is, we are going to get you with this pin to stop using this thing. You know, cocaine, digital cocaine. Ooh, that's going to be a little bit of a tall task, right? This is something that I do a zillion times a day, like you do, and I'm trying to put it down as much as I can, probably like you two too. Is that a word, sentence, phrase that makes sense? I think it was. It's just going to be really hard. So, how are you getting me into this? What are you trying to offer me that would get me away from that thing, which I philosophically agree with you about? So, here's their pitch. Instead of you using your phone or a computer with screens and keyboards, use your voice. Or turn on this projector thingy and use this. Now that looks pretty good, right? This is generally what that projector is shooting out. This is their marketing image, and then this is a reviewer. Oh, okay, let's just start with the voice. As we all know from Siri and Alexa and Google, it's okay. It's not incredible. And talking to voice assistants, unless you're my dad, is not something people do for all the reasons we know. It's slow. It's intrusive to everyone around you. Yeah, Dad, it is. Okay, would you mind? It's often wrong for all the reasons that we know, and when Siri is right, it's pedantic. Hey, Siri, play the Beatles. The Beatles, now playing on dude, just play the song. Just enough of the preamble. And then, okay, fine, you want me to bite on learning a sign language? Like, whoa, dude, like the level of effort that you are asking a user to give you before you give them back something is just no. This is a no. Number four. This is a big issue. This is a big issue. 4 is possibly the biggest issue. And you're like, how could that be? Are you ready? This is where the part of the website where they talk about their value prop, all the things it can do. So let's go through these. It can answer questions. Okay, we got that. It's called Google. AI Pin will make sure only certain people can reach you at certain times of the day. Did you know that iOS has had this for a while now, and Android too? Okay, the next value prop here is that it can summarize a text thread. Okay, kind of novel. I personally don't have this problem, and I don't think the Catch Me Up feature, this is really nice. Their website's very nice. I don't know about you, but I personally like texting my friends and having a say on when and where we go for dinner, instead of being a passive bystander, which would, interrupt the presence that I'm supposed to be getting. Like, I'm present in the conversation about where we go to dinner. My friends, if not, might think I were, not being present. Do you see the issue here? The next piece, it can make me a soundtrack. Also have this, and that's just the first 4 value propositions. I'm just going to pull the plug on this. If you came to me as a founder and you're like, Will, I've got this idea, it does these 4 things, and 3 of them were wildly done successfully years ago, I'd be like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? That would be how I would try to respond. Inside, though, I'd be very upset. The 5th reason. Are you ready? Are you still here? Are we here? The 5th reason why. Let's go with this picture. The 5th reason why they failed is because this is too much. This is a very common problem founders have. I've got this enormous vision. I'm going to put it all in my V1. Don't do that. Here's why, dude. You don't have to take it from me. Look, watch. To do this, they had to build a new operating system. Already, I'm out. What do you mean? No. This is an enormous, tall task, right? This is just like, there goes at least a year or 3 of engineering. Like, no. They built new hardware. Well, we all know how that's not easy. They put a teeny projector in there. Enormous, huge efforts. They had to create a new gestural language to interact with all this crap. And then, of course, they had to get some amount of the AI on the device and then route enough of it out of there. That routing, it's very impressive. And unless it delivers, it's useless. Okay? useless. Impressive and useless. That's not your goal as a founder. Your goal as a founder is to deliver value, deliver a solution, okay? So what should they have done instead? This is the first Tesla Roadster. It's a bunch of laptop batteries in there stuffed into a Lotus. The only thing that's new here is that this is the first EV to pass the Scott Galloway test. So for Humane, instead of building an entirely new hardware category and operating system, why not just build an app? You know, on top of the iPhone or the Apple Watch, or, you know, have it work with AirBuds. They're already great. Everyone's already got them. You know, like, what if should we try that? It's faster. Yeah, right? Like, if the vision is so compelling, great. Then it should be able to scale down and work. A vision doesn't just live in the clouds. There's also a ladder to get to it, right? If you can make a good app or a great app that gets to market faster, cheaper, and delivers subscription value, customer base, repeat purchasing, you know, all that kind of stuff, the economics here, users wouldn't have to shell out something that costs $700. If you are going for the stars, you might have to take 2 chess moves to get there. And I'll name a company that did this really well. Are you ready? Netflix. Yeah, man. They knew that they wanted to do streaming and proprietary content. That's always the goal. But if you got to create a market and win it, you got to think about maybe you need to make 2 chess moves to get that done, right? Because if not, this is what happens when ego gets in the way. When the vision is so up there that you can't see any cracks on that sidewalk. If your value prop is just angles and triangles and arrows, you got to think hard. You got to think harder about how humans really behave and how your product, are you ready, can help them. Them. The thumb is pointing to them. It's not about you, it's about them. Thank you so much for watching. This is newish for me. And if you liked it, subscribe. Tell your friends, your entrepreneurial, foundy friends. Be like, yo, this video, maybe this guy got a point. I think I do. If you disagree, pop it in there. I promise I will try to respond as defensivelessly as possible. Thanks so much for watching. Adios.